Welcome, fellow bookworms, to Tibra's Den. My name is Whitney, and it is Bookmas Day 9. Now, I have some updates, but not a lot of progress was made yesterday, so let's go ahead and get into it. Of course, I've already read my chapter, A Heart for Christmas by Sophie Jomain. I would have liked this chapter, but it's just so cringy, and I want to just read a couple parts. So, her and her love interest, Augustine, finally have a moment together. There's not a whole lot of drama here, except at the end, the drama she creates. But so they're at a restaurant, they're eating, and he's like, "Can I give you a kiss?" And she's like, "What?" He smiles. "I want to give you a kiss and I'm asking for your permission." Here in front of everyone? He nods. "Okay, I'm going to go into cardiac arrest again, that's for sure. My heart misses a beat." "Okay," I say in a squeaky voice. Augustin gets up, leans over the table, and places a tiny kiss on my cheek. I can barely feel it. By the time he sits down, I still haven't taken a breath. I'm not sure if I'm frustrated or overjoyed. "I didn't plan for that to happen," he says. "I mean, I didn't see it coming. I just felt a sudden urge come over me." Like, really? It was fine until that point. I mean, a little weird, but fine until, like, I don't know what happened. A sudden urge just came over me. Like, no, that gave me the ick. And then at the very last um, part, let's see here. It says, so she's talking to Eva, who's her best friend and Augustine's sister, and she's reflecting because she tells Augustine, like, "Don't say anything to your sister," and then his sisters, they're texting each other, messaging each other because Eva's supposed to arrive tomorrow, and just chatting, and she's like, like, "I can't wait to see you. You'll be," and Eva asked her, "You'll be around?" She's like, "Where else would I be?" I said, "Don't know. Maybe you met some amazing guy and you didn't tell me." And then she's like, "Oh, shoot, you know, like, what do I say?" And then she's like, "You still there? Hello, don't tell me you met somebody." "No way. What are you thinking? There's no one." And so then she's reflecting on that and she goes, "If I try to explain to her that in less than a week I've learned how to breathe again and that's mostly thanks to her brother, she'll think I'm crazy." And that just felt so, like, not genuine. Like, I get a lot of times in romances, the timeline, that the love interests are together are often shorter, and I don't mind that. Like, just suspend disbelief a little bit, and it's fine. But in this case, like, it's just been so drama filled. They really haven't had any moments together other than today. Like, they've had a few little mini ones, but it really hasn't been any, like, solid interactions. The writing's so shallow that I'm just, like, rolling my eyes at that because it's like, no, like, you can breathe again because of him. Like, where is that in the story? You haven't had any interactions. I mean, they have, but, like, nothing that's solid. And, like, the one time he kind of, pushes her, like, he kind of came across as condescending. So it's not like he's taking her on these adventures other than today. Um, they're not, it's not like they're getting out and doing stuff. Well, they did do the ski with the kids, I guess, but still, that was with a bunch of kids. Um, I don't know. It just didn't feel sincere because the writing is so shallow. So, and, like, there's just something cringy. I appreciated, like, she's creating her own drama by not just saying, "Hey, I like your brother," to her friend. Like, she's creating her own drama there. But yeah, I'm just kind of getting frustrated with this book. Like, I'm just like, come on, like, just, like, why? Why do you have to be cringy? Why do you have to add the drama? Like, I want the love story, not all this other stupid stuff. So anyway, that's kind of getting frustrated. My husband and I did read the next section of Christmas Eve Love Story by Ginny Baird. And this one was a lot better. So we were on the fourth Christmas Eve, because this one's the Groundhog Day loop, in case you haven't been following along with my 24 days of Bookmas. This is the Groundhog Day loop trope. And so she's just repeating Christmas Eve over and over again. Sorry, I know you can't see them, but I have Anya right here to the left of me. Then Boo Boo is sitting on Anya, laying behind me. Anidra was already right here, but Boo Boo's kind of half laying on her, so she's like keeps scooting down. And then of course I have Fratelline. Um, they're just all feeling very needy today, apparently. So anyway, that's the Groundhog Day trope, and um, I enjoyed this chapter a lot more than I have. Because basically, in this fourth one, she's finally accepted that it's a Groundhog Day trope, and it's not being like, you're not being bombarded, like, this is happening. This, like, we know, as readers, we know what's happening. And yeah, it would be a shock, but like the author's really trying to get the point across that this is the Groundhog Day trope. The day is being repeated. And it's like, come on now. So anyway, in this one, it was a little bit smoother because she's finally accepted it. The interactions with other people were more prevalent in here, and it's kind of that's changing and evolving each day because she remembers that she's interacted with them. So based on those interactions, like with her neighbors and with Brayden, who is the love interest, like that's getting a little bit more in depth and such. And so that was the bulk of the chapter, where was these interactions, which made it more enjoyable instead of trying to, drill into our head that is the Groundhog Day trope. I will say, like, the big event of the boys knocking into her Christmas display, the window display for Lawson's department store, she does that every chapter, and I'm getting sick of that. It's like, Marcus, no! Like, I go first. I'm just like, okay, I'm over it. You could just say, oh, there goes the boys, like, because she's trying to beat the boys. Like, some things she's able to change, but that one thing she hasn't been able to change, and she's been trying each time. She's just trying to beat the boys so they don't get to her window display to destroy it. Um, and so, yeah, she doesn't need to do that scene over and over. Just say, like, oh, there goes the boys, and then, whatever Annie's doing to try to disrupt that. And so that's irritating because it's not a well done Groundhog Day trope. Nina's finally abandoned them. And so, yeah, that's getting a little bit annoying, but this chapter was a little bit better. It's still very cliche, and there was a big editing issue in this one to me, like, because I catch those things and it really gets under my skin. And what's frustrating was this was published, and then Walmart picked it up to do it as an advent, and so, like, two chances to edit it, and that didn't happen, and it just really gets me. And so there was one um, paragraph where the love interest name is Brayden, and in this paragraph it's suddenly Brandon. I'm just like, not only did you have to add an N in there, you had to change the E to an O. So yeah, that was like a glaring editing mistake. And I'm just like, how did nobody catch that? Which I know that's more like, yeah, a lot of people probably wouldn't think that's a big deal. Anya's like, I'm done. I'm done. She gets really hot, um so yeah, that was just like, really, like, nobody caught that. So anyway, but it was a better chapter, and I'm looking forward to kind of seeing how it evolves going forward. So, and I do really like, the one part I really love about this is the flashbacks, because Annie lost her parents when she was young, and so we're having a few flashbacks, and I really do like those flashbacks to, like, her memories and such. So there is that one. Then let's see here. I did read the next two essays in Spending the Holidays with People I Want to Punch in the Throat by Jan Mann. So the next two essays were in part two. We've made it to part two. And so section one was Christmas memories I like to forget. This is making my own Christmas memories. Note they still suck. So we had fa ra 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 My Christmas Story. And that one was about, so her and her husband, when they were dating and such, uh, they would spend Christmases apart. She would go visit her parents, and he would stay and visit his parents. And they're two very separate. Like her mom's very like all in when it's Christmas, and his like they're the kind that give socks and underwear for Christmas presents. Don't decorate. And so the one Christmas when they were dating, she wasn't able to go visit her parents because she had to work the next day after Christmas. Like she couldn't get it off because she had taken it off the year before and they wouldn't let her. And so she couldn't go visit them. And so they came to her. And so their two families are meeting for the first time. And her husband family, I think they're Chinese. And so they go and get Chinese food. Um, and so her family's just like, what? No turkey? Like what is this? And they keep referring to what Christmas movie was it? I don't remember the Christmas movie. What was it? A Christmas Story. And her dad is like, you should watch Christmas Vacation because her husband hasn't seen either of them. So they keep referencing a scene in Christmas Story, which I haven't seen a Christmas Story. I've seen bits of it, but I've never watched it. And so they keep referencing the scene where they're eating at a Chinese restaurant in the movie, I guess. And so there's that one, and it was talking about, her dad's like, we gotta have a turkey. So they ended up eating their meal before going to the Chinese restaurant with his family, essentially. And then the next one was um, Hoarder's Delight, and it's talking about her mom like has all these Christmas decorations and it takes her like days or weeks to decorate because she has so many Christmas decorations. So she's like talking about like this one. Mom, 150 Santa Claus figures. This number does not include Santa pictures, ornaments, or the like. These are physical freestanding Santas placed throughout the house. Jen, 0 Santa Claus figures. WTF? Those are so weird. Plus, it looks like someday I stand to inherit 75, so no need to add to my bounty. Actually, I'll probably get them all since I can't see CV showing up to claim his house. So, she's going through like the different things her mom collects for Christmas, and how like she tries to get her to, downsize and such, and they just end up going to her daughter who really loves Christmas. So still, like I said, even though it's not typically would be my thing, I'm actually really enjoying this. I find her writing funny, and like her memories and such. So I'm really actually enjoying this, and I'm just going to continue to probably work on two each night. So there's that one. I did not get to A True Christmas by Donna Van Leer. Right now, I'm reading The Christmas Note, and I just didn't get to it. I was super tired. It was midnight by the time I was ready to get to this one, and I'm just like, you know what? I'm going to bed. Tomorrow's going to be a full reading day anyway, so it will be fine. So I didn't make any progress in that. I did, however, finish Nick and Noel's Christmas Playlist by Cody Hall. I love this. 5 stars for sure. I absolutely ate this up. I really like the character growth in this one, specifically with Noelle. So Noelle lost her parents when she was, I think, 14, and she ended up moving in with the Winters. And so they're like her family, but ever since then she doesn't want to get married, she does not want kids. um and Nick, who is her best friend since they were babies because their moms were best friends, really wants a family. Like that's his goal. He wants to have a family, he wants to get married and have kids. And he gets home, in the army and he finally gets discharged. It's been like 8 years or something. And so he gets home and his girlfriend of that time like breaks up with him, and throws it in his face that she's been cheating with him. And his ex-girlfriend and Noelle have animosity since high school, like long before she started dating Nick. So there's that whole situation, and now Amber's kind of regretting breaking up with Nick and such. And so they end up sharing a kiss, and then they're like, well, maybe we should fake date. And Noelle's just not comfortable with that. So it's not actually fake dating trope. Like, entertain the idea for a bit. But it is friends to lovers, which I really like. And so yeah, so Noelle has like her issues and she's grumpy and such, and she's just really worried about having a family and losing them because of her past trauma. And Nick understands that, like he's been there. And so I really enjoyed like that growth of them together and their relationship, like because Noelle has never actually had a boyfriend. She has very casual relationships, and Nick has had one 8 year long distance relationship while he was in the army. And so they didn't really know each other. Like they saw each other when he was on leave or whatnot. They didn't really know each other. So like kind of some of the fumbles in the relationship really actually made sense. And it didn't feel like it was just added for drama's sake. It felt like it made sense for the characters. And I like Noelle's best friend Gabby, who's getting married. And so there's a lot of sorry about the cat. There's a lot of interactions between Amber and Noelle, who Amber is Nick's ex, that Noelle has had beef with since high school, because Gabby is also friends with Amber, and so they're both in the wedding party. Um, and so there's a lot of interactions between them, not just around Nick, which I liked. Like that drama too. Like yes, you have the jealous ex, but sorry, Boo started panting because she was too hot behind me, and Freezy barks. Like if anything's like a little weird, she barks. And so she barked at Boo Boo, and then they all started going off thinking something was happening. But anyway, the drama felt real to the characters, and the stumbles in their relationship felt real to the characters. And I really liked Gabby's voice of reason, and I liked because Noelle's like, I don't want marriage, I don't want kids, but it's not that she doesn't want them, it's that she's scared of them. And I like the approach instead of like, oh, for this perfect person she's going to change her mind. Like you had Gabby as the voice of reason, and she'd be like, okay, like if you really don't want that, that's fine, but like, is it that you really don't want it, or is it that you're scared? And so you have that voice of reason, and it really is because she's scared. And so that change didn't give me the ick, because some women don't want marriage and they don't want a family, and that's perfectly fine. And so if the author had made that part of Noelle, and then all of a sudden, like, because it's Nick, oh yeah, I want that, that would have kind of left a bad taste in my mouth. But because she's scared and not that she doesn't want that, I really like that. So I really like Noelle's growth. And then there's kind of the third act fallout, and they have two friends. Noelle and Nick have two guy friends, Anthony and Pike. And so after that third act fallout, Anthony and Pike are there. And they're like, why are you mad at him? Like, that's who he is as a person. And it was kind of a little bit of jealousy because he goes to help his ex Amber with a tire. And so she gets upset about that. And so they're kind of, again, that voice of reason, like, no, I called her out, like, you're being ridiculous. Like, we were gonna be here for you, because she was also worried if, they started dating and things went wrong, like she would lose, the Winters as her family, and Pike and Anthony would go with, Nick and not her. And they were like, no, we're here for you too. But then when she was like telling them why they had this falling out, and they're just like, no, like, you know what? Nick's the wrong one here. We're gonna go support him. Like, they were joking and teasing her, but they were also serious. And so they called her out, and I really liked that. And so the drama never felt like added in for drama's sake. Even kind of the issues with Amber and the jealous ex and such, like, it actually all felt very natural. And I had a fantastic time. There is two more books in the series, which follows Nick's two sisters, and I'm definitely going to be picking those up, and they will be waiting for me next year because I love this. Absolutely love this. So there was that one. And then our pick for yesterday, I didn't even start. And so this is going to be my main focus today. I really want to read this during the day, and then I'll probably switch over to today's pick later tonight. And then at bed, I'll work on my other stuff that I work on every night. So yeah, I didn't even start Let It Snow, which has the three stories by John Green, Maureen Johnson, and Lauren Miracle. So that will be a big focus and priority today. And then, of course, tonight my husband and I will be back to Mystery for Christmas, edited by Cynthia Manson. And tonight's story is going to be Kelso's Christmas by Malcolm McClintick. So that's what we'll be reading tonight. And of course, we'll be reading Dungeon Crawler Carl, the Butcher's Masquerade, which is the fifth book in the series. We've been absolutely eating that up. I wanted to read more last night because we had left it the night before on a cliffhanger. But I was tired. I was stumbling over my words. And so we only ended up reading two chapters, which was only like 17 pages. They were shorter chapters. And it didn't get back to the cliffhanger because something happens, and so you're left on the cliffhanger, but then you have to go through the other part before you can get back to that cliffhanger topic. So we'll definitely be reading that tonight. And I did also, which is another reason I didn't get to some of the other ones, I really wanted to get back into Wild Women in the Blues, so I did read a couple chapters of that, and I'm glad I did because stuff happened in that I was not expecting. I was like, holy cow, what's happening? And so I read like two chapters, and then I was like, I was gonna switch over, but I wanted to read the next chapter because again, it was kind of a big thing, and I was like, I need to know what's happening here. So I ended up reading another chapter, and I just, even though that's not part of Bookmas, it's a rollover. It's my last priority standalone for the year, and I just want to read it, and I'm really enjoying it. So again, thank you to Michelle for gifting that to me because I am loving it. And so yeah, now we're on to today's book, which thankfully for me is a very short one. It is a hardcover, so I'm assuming it's going to be either Richard Paul Evans or Mary Higgins Clark. But let's go ahead and find out which it is. But yeah, it's small, which is very helpful, so I can hopefully get caught up, especially because tomorrow I'm going to be going down to see my grandparents and visit my mom and Aunt Laura, who are also coming down. They live like 5 hours north of me, but they're coming down to visit my grandparents too. And so I was already planning on doing that Thursday, but now that they're coming down, I'm going to go tomorrow. So, and tomorrow I don't know what size the books fell over, so I can't even know what size tomorrow's book is, but I like to catch up a little bit today, so it's not so bad because I won't get a lot of reading done tomorrow. So, because it's not like I can listen to an audiobook either because, I'm visiting. So there's that. Let's see here. Can I get it? There we go. Oop, upside down. So it is another Richard Paul Evans book. This is the Christmas box, the 30th anniversary edition, which this one of the ones that is part of a series? I don't think so. I don't see it. Maybe. I don't know. Because it doesn't show like it has his series, but it doesn't show the Christmas box there that I can see. So this one might be one of the standalones. Like I said, I had two that are part of series and two standalones. So I think this one's part of the standalones. But it doesn't say. Anyway, I really enjoyed the first book I read by him, which was A Christmas Memory. I think I got that one on day 3, and I really enjoyed that one. And so I'm looking forward to reading, and that was like based on his time in his childhood. So I'm gonna hopefully enjoy this one. I'm looking forward to reading it. So it says 30 years ago, Richard Paul Evans wrote A Small Christmas Story for his 2 young daughters, a celebration of love, the joy of fatherhood, and the beauty of childhood. Evans printed a few dozen copies of his book and showed it to family and friends, who began sharing it with their loved ones. As demand for the book grew, Evans printed up more copies of his sweet tale and began selling them at local stores in Salt Lake City. Within a few years, what began as a private expression of love for his daughters evolved into a beloved gift whose popularity quickly spread throughout the world. Soon his masterpiece became a global phenomenon, becoming one of the best-selling books of the century. Now this special anniversary edition brings the Christmas box to a new generation. This moving and unforgettable story of a widow and the young family that comes to live with her is a modern classic from the king of Christmas fiction that you'll want to share with all your loved ones. So, and it is super short. It is only just over 100 pages. Um, so yeah, let's see here. 113 pages, but it's one of the ones that like it has blank pages in between parts of the chapter, so it's even actually shorter than that. And so yeah, I'm going to be reading a lot today. After I get this video up, which this video is longer, so let's see what the lineup is here. Of course, I've already again read the chapter for A Heart for Christmas. My husband and I are going to be reading this and some more Carl tonight. And then I have these 4 books. Like I'm always at 4 books, it seems. But hopefully today I will be able to catch up because this one's really short. This one is YA, and this one should be a quick read. I just, by the time I've been getting to it each night, I've been super tired. And of course, I'm just reading a few of these at a time. So hopefully today's the day I catch up. Let's cross our fingers. I will be back tomorrow. Tomorrow's video might be a little bit later because I want to go early to visit with everybody. So my plan is to film, but I probably won't edit till I get back home. So tomorrow's video is going to be a little bit later. But I've really been loving Bookmas. I hope you guys have been enjoying it as well, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.